Hello, everybody. I am Marinashutup. As much as I love Millennial, I'm afraid I have to disagree with her on this video. So let's begin.
Force a Muslim to bake a cake with Muhammad's face on it? Would we force an atheist to bake a cake for an event the Westboro Baptist Church was holding? Would we force a Jewish baker to bake a cake that was, I don't know, covered with pork and shellfish and that had swastikas on it? No, we wouldn't, and nor should we. And I know there are some of you out there who are going to say that, oh, but if you open up a business, you agree to operate in the public sphere, you just have to accept that you're going to take clients that you're not exactly going to like every time. But why should we have to do that? Especially when you're someone who owns and operates your own small business and you have clients that are asking you to do things that violate your principles when it comes to your religion.
Now, I have no problem with this bit, but I do think that she's going to begin to compare apples to oranges. You know, like the right to refuse service for anybody, for any reason, to what she just said there. But it lacks nuance to compare the rights to refuse service to this right here. It's just there's discrepancies to this. You know, for example, if your car is out of gas and you just need to be at the nearest gas station at a rural town, if a person refuses you and you're out of gas, that could potentially be life-threatening at a rural town. Or if a hospital refuses to take roaming because she's mixed race, if somebody refuses to take you because of your skin color, in certain situations that could be life-threatening. So I just wanted to point out that there are nuances to this, and you know, we are unsure of where to draw the line between freedom and safety, freedom and security.
I wonder if in the future they'll also decide that religious freedom is not a good enough excuse for Christian pastors, reverends, and priests to not provide their services to gay weddings.
I think Millennial is Canadian, but I live in America and we have the separation of church and state. To me, it would be better to focus on the separation of church and states and add that to Canadian laws to protect religious freedom.
Cake's a sort of edible form of art, which I think is completely reasonable. Then forcing this baker to bake this cake when he doesn't want to might qualify as compelled speech.
Don't we, in a sense, engage in that already? For example, when you go to a public school, you can't call your school teacher a bitch and a whore because you would get expelled from school and your parents would yell at you. Your parents aren't going to go to the school teacher and say, hey, my kid has the freedom of speech to call the school teacher a bitch and a whore. Likewise, you know, a waitress cannot actually, you know, call you a bitch, a whore, an asshole, because a waitress would get fired from her job. And not only that, but, you know, it's kind of like, I mean, there could be censorship from the government, but there could be censorship from businesses. And if you support censorship, as long as it's coming from businesses and you want absolute freedom from the government, I do think people can be oppressed by corporations, especially if they have a monopoly. Like Google is basically a monopoly at this point. So this is why this is just such a difficult topic, because it just goes over like which is worse, being oppressed by the government or being oppressed by corporations. And I mean, is there a double standard between wanting freedom of speech for the government, but being fine with censorship as long as the business is doing it? Because then it's a-okay for YouTube to throttle YouTubers, and YouTubers should respect that YouTube is its own private business and it could censor anybody it likes, because censorship, particularly self-censorship, always happens. A person working at Walmart is expected to self-censor. She has to treat you respectfully or get fired. When you are in school, you engage in self-censorship. You cannot call your teacher a bitch, a whore. You cannot disrupt a class, or you risk getting expelled. Censorship does happen. The only time you're truly free is when you're at home.
Though, and this is where I might lose some of you if I haven't already, I'm actually gonna take this a step further. I actually believe that business owners should have the right to refuse service to anybody for any reason. Now please, just hear me out. I am not pro-discrimination. I don't think it's a good thing. In fact, I think it is an immoral thing to not want to serve someone based on them being gay or black or Muslim or whatever. Discrimination is not a good thing, but what's an even worse thing is someone being compelled by the state to provide services when they don't want to.
And back to what I was saying earlier, discrimination in some instances can be life-threatening. If you are in a very rural area, like if you're in a desert, maybe you're in some sort of deserts in Nevada, and you really need gas, and you're out of it, and there is a gas station close by, and it refuses to take you because you're mixed race, and they know you're mixed race, and they're like, nope, we don't serve mixed race people. That could potentially kill you. Or if a hospital refuses to take you because you are mixed race, that could kill you. There are going to be instances where if people discriminate against you, it could kill you. Or what if a school doesn't want to take black kids, but it's, you're in a rural area and you can't really get to a different school. If you can't get to a different school and the only school around hates black people and refuses to take black people, you would grow up being uneducated. And in that case, it will cause a lot more harm than good. So there are going to be cases where discrimination would cause lots of chaos and disorder in society.
Saying that you must provide this labor even if you don't want to, yeah, you're still being paid for it, but that's kind of indentured servitude.
Well then, there are 70% of indentured servants in America, because 70% of U.S. employees hates their jobs. So it's kind of like, are you an American? Do you hate your job? Congratulations, all 70% of you are all indentured servants. Romic Millennial, I am really happy that you got to make a career making YouTube videos. But not everybody is lucky enough to do a career that they love and are passionate about. Many people would prefer to make a living doing YouTube videos, being an actor, being a professional singer. There are people out there who try their best to be professional singers, but are stuck being trash collectors. People do jobs that they don't like. That doesn't make them servants. And parts of, I think that's parts of the problem with millennials is, wanting to do things that they love, and therefore thinking that communism is the answer because they have to take the jobs that are available over something that they are passionate about. But the problem is an overwhelming majority an overwhelming majority of Americans are passionate about being a singer, being a dancer, being an actor, being a professional football player, being a professional soccer player. That is what people want to do. And she's saying that if you do something and you don't really want to do it, then you're a servant. And that's not how it works. Or what is the difference between roaming millennial statements and Marinashutup statements? When Marinashutup is like, fuck capitalism, I love my cushy job at everyday feminism, and I do not want to work a job at McDonald's or Subway. If I work at Subway, I'll be an indentured servant. No, I must keep my cushy job at everyday feminism. Can't agree with roaming millennial without subsequently agreeing that Marinashutup is oppressed because she might lose her job at everyday feminism and might have to do a job that she doesn't like, such as working at McDonald's, and do things that she just doesn't want to do, like not tell her customers that they're working for the patriarchy.
I don't want to serve you, and it's nobody's business why.
And if YouTube and Facebook wants to censor you, it's none of your business why. If YouTube and Facebook wants to, censor Sargon, or if Twitter was to permanently suspend, Sargon, Milo, Bunty King, hey, that's their prerogative, and it's none of your business why they want to do that. It's just their business, and you have no reason to complain about it. Oh, and I forgot to mention something. These businesses, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, they're all pretty much monopolies. But please do not complain about YouTube, censoring videos. It's their business, not yours. It doesn't matter that they're monopolies and that they control everything. It's their business, and if they do something that they don't want to do, that's the exact same thing as Mark Zuckerberg being oppressed.
Frankly, with all the talk about compelling people to use certain pronouns and certain words, it just makes me nervous that we have a precedent that can compel people to provide certain services as well.
And this is what I mean by apples to oranges. When a person is refusing service, such as a gas station and the only gas station in the middle of nowhere, that could be potentially life-threatening. While if a person calls you the wrong pronoun, that is not going to kill you. And that's what makes it apples to oranges, and why she needed more nuance in that video, because she's comparing two things that I don't really view as being that much alike. Like when a gas station refuses to serve you gas or water when you're in Death Valley, that could kill you. You would probably need water if you're in Death Valley and you haven't had much to drink. Refusing service could be a death sentence. But when it comes to not using the right pronouns, well, that is just an inconvenience to a trans person. So to me, Roaming Millennial's video needed a lot more nuance than it actually had, because those two things to me aren't that much alike. It's just leaps in logic.
A printer doesn't want to print what they deem to be, anti-male propaganda, should they be forced to. There are so many different ways that the issues of compelled labor and compelled services could end up affecting us in the future, and personally, I think it's safest to always err on the side of freedom. And yes, I know how cheesy that sounds, but
well, no, they shouldn't be forced to, but they could always work somewhere else. Like if you're working for Fox News, you cannot complain that you are forced to write something that is right-wing. And if you are working for Everyday Feminism, you cannot complain that you're writing something that is left-wing. You just gotta look for a job elsewhere. And now we're back to the topic of, censorship from a job versus censorship from the government. And, both of these things could be bad. Oppression from a company versus oppression from the government, because companies could always have monopolies. So in the end, I can't really decide which is worse, being oppressed by a company that has a monopoly and decides to own everything, or being oppressed by the government. But you guys could let me know what you think. Is, being oppressed by a company worse, or being oppressed by the government worse? Well, what if the company has a monopoly and they own everything, and you can't go anywhere else without the same rules being enforced? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share everywhere. I do not have much experience making response videos, so I know that this isn't my best video, but I hope you enjoyed this video anyway. And I am interested in hearing your differences of opinions, and I think that Millennial did bring up a very great topic. And I'm not mad at all. I am glad that Millennial brought up such an interesting, wonderful discussion. And if you want to make a response video to me, that's fine. I'll be more than willing to check it out. Bye bye.